Hey kids, you're about to listen to a comedy podcast. That means that none of this is medical advice. If you need medical advice or medical care, please contact your doctor.
Welcome to the Jock podcast featuring Dr. London Smith. He's a Barbenheimer girl in a Barbenheimer world. Introducing your host, Dr. Londonheimer Smith.
Hello, and welcome to the Jock podcast, where we discuss fitness and health and how to incorporate our modern understanding of science and medicine into our daily lives, but without it being so boring. I'm your host, drlondonsmith.com. I'd like to begin by apologizing to our listeners. We have received some feedback about the excessive amount of technical medical terms that I've been using, such as epigastric hernia and Reese's piecemeal. So I'll try to temper my terminology to a simpler one in the future. Here to help with that is our producer, Cameron.
Dr. London, I hate to be complaining so quickly in this episode, but that's my job as the producer.
Is it?
Yeah, to complain, find reasons to complain, have a note. Always have a note, you know?
Yeah. No, I appreciate... Yeah, go on.
Our TikTok presence is abysmal, Dr. London. None of the dances you've been trying are working at all. If they do work, it's in an ironic way. Like, I mean, okay, the Dr. Smithy London, that did go viral, but we didn't see any money from that because it was just people stitching it and screenshotting it and being like, what is this guy's problem? Why does he move like that?
A lot of people were sending it around. Like, at clinic, whenever I was at the hospital, people would bring it up to me and be like, do you know what you have? And like, have you diagnosed it? Like, it was a lot of sending me to different...
Should you be working as a doctor?
A lot of people offering to say like, do you need to talk? Are things okay at home? Or do you need to talk? And I'm like, for one thing, yes, that's why I have a podcast.
A lot of people were asking, like, do you need a hot meal? Because it just really seemed like you needed a solid hot meal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess maybe calling it viral is a little generous because it is really just, I guess, your friends and family being concerned for your well-being. In a way, that's viral.
Yeah, but like, so our TikTok presence isn't great.
No, and we need to go viral in a more viral way, outside of just people who would be concerned about your well-being. So we gotta brainstorm. We gotta come up just real quick, some micro trends, just something.
Okay.
So like what like stuff that happens on TikTok. I mean, people like make that goo, where they were doing that like 3 years ago.
Yeah, or the drinking the grimace thing.
The grimace thing. There was the NPC thing from a few weeks ago where people were just going like, hello, hello, hello.
Yeah. Okay, could I be just a main character instead and like just walk
interesting.
around?
Kind of a fun, ironic twist on the NPC thing. You're not just some side character.
Yeah. No, I'm
just
the main one.
You're like a doctor in your early 30s, just sort of talking and like having thoughts and just being normal.
Yeah.
That is wild. That is whoa, Dr. London, you've tapped into something here.
Yeah. So imagine I get on TikTok.
Yeah.
I could say, "Hey guys, what's up? I'm out here living my life today, having food, drinking water. See ya."
Let's come up with a backup trend real quick, just in case. So just as a backup, I've definitely seen a lot of stuff lately about like bears chasing people.
Okay.
Is there something we can do about that?
Yeah. So like, okay, me running, bears chasing me. I'm talking about what I'm eating that day.
Yeah.
And then maybe a wrench flies. We have to get someone to throw a wrench.
Sure.
Wrench hits me in the head.
Uh-oh, funny.
Is that a trend? Is that a trend's work? I don't know. Is that a TikTok?
That kind of sounds like how a TikTok trend. From my understanding, which is very little, that is my understanding of how a trend works. Is bears chasing you. You're talking about your day, and then bonk. But it has to be played to a specific song, like you know. Because
the big twist is people think I'll be eaten by a bear, and I might if the wrench does incapacitate me. But
it has to be to a specific song. It's like to All That She Wants by Ace of Base or something like that.
Yeah. Running away from a bear to a song.
And then getting wrenched. All right, we got it. DJ Dylan, did we get it?
Yes.
So that was our producer, Cameron. Also with us is Digital in the house. Now for today's medical topic, Huntington disease. Huntington disease is a hereditary disease characterized by CAG trinucleotide repeat sequences on chromosome 4. On exam questions, Huntington disease will be the answer when you see the symptoms of movement, memory, and mood changes with an onset at age 30 to 50 years old. More specifically, patients will have coriform movement disorder, that's also known as dyskinesia. They'll have dementia, and they'll have behavior changes such as irritability, moodiness, and antisocial behavior. And all of this will, once again, have an onset at age 30 to 50 with a family history of Huntington disease.
Is this, I mean, Dr. London, not to get too concerned, but is this isn't related to your recent irritability, is it?
No, well, if it's viral, then no. Because, once again, I was going viral. This is a genetic thing.
Yeah, no, not even talking about the TikTok. It's just you've kind of just been in a funk, Dr. London.
Okay, and so you noticed that then. Because I thought I was really keeping a poker face going and that no one would notice that. Because, yeah.
You keep losing at poker. I don't want to play poker anymore. And we don't need to play for such a high amount. Because it seems like this is the reason you're irritated, and you're irritated at me, and you're constantly trying to show a poker face.
Oh, am I? Am I really irritated at you? Is that what you're picking up on here?
See, and that's not a poker face. That's you pissed off. Which, if we were playing poker, I would think you have a bad hand, and you do.
Yeah. The fact that I am more irritable because I do bet so much, and then you do keep calling me out and calling my bluffs and winning.
Yes. You keep saying, put it on my tab.
Yeah. And then I go to the bar and I say, like, from that tab. And they're like, they don't know what that... They've explained to me it's not related, apparently.
Yeah, the system's down. I usually, I've got a guy I'll Venmo and I'll say, let London have this amount of money.
That I owe you, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, so the movement disorder of Huntington disease starts with fidgetiness or restlessness, progressing to dystonic posturing, rigidity, and akathisia, which is the inability to remain still. There's a specific genetic test in Huntington disease that is 99% sensitive, and CAG trinucleotide repeat sequences are found on genetic analysis. The symptom triad of movement, memory, and mood is confirmed with that test. No treatment reverses Huntington disease, but psychosis is treated with haloperidol, quetiapine, or a trial of different antipsychotics. And the movement disorders are treated with deutetrabenazine and tetrabenazine. And those last drugs alter the levels of monoamine. So that's dopamine, serotonin, and norepinephrine.
And if, before you start fretting and worrying, if you're just like, oh, I have been irritable lately, if it is because you've been waking up your friend in the middle of the night and saying, I've got the best poker hand, which that's not how you play poker. You don't show up with the hand. You go, dude, I've got the best hand. Let's go. 100K.
Well, then I show you.
Yes.
I show you my hand.
And it's like, that's not, and you want to play Texas Hold'em? That's definitely not how you play Texas Hold'em. And you bet $100,000 on it.
Well, because we were in the wrong state that day. Like, I get that, we were in New Jersey. Like, you can't play Texas Hold'em. I get that. But I was saying I'm ready for whenever we get back to Texas and we can play the Texas Hold'em.
Yeah.
Like, I get that was wrong.
You're getting irritated now.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get that. But whatever. No, honestly, whatever. Like, maybe I don't even need to play. I don't even need to win poker.
Yes, the cure for that is to just stop playing poker.
All right, Cameron, you said that we have a guest today. Is that right?
That's right. We have a very exciting guest, Dr. London.
Well, hello there. My name is drlondonsmith.com. This is our producer, Cameron. What was your name?
Oh, my name is Silvia Stirrup.
Oh, great. Okay, so
Yeah.
So I have some of your the binders you sent ahead. I guess we just want to get into it because normally, we're like, oh, what's your whole game plan? But obviously, you came really prepared with your pitch.
Oh, I love being prepared.
Oh, wow. I love this chipper attitude. I would say 75% of our guests come in furious. It is typically a neighbor or a cousin that has been trying to find us. That is a lot of our guests.
Oh, yeah.
And so to see this positive attitude, I really love it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I haven't had a negative thought since 1984.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
No, that was a rough year.
I don't want to ask. What was the thought in 1984?
Oh, it was when I had a very poor meal. I really didn't like the meal very well. They put a little bit too much gravy on the plate, it just kind of swam there. It was just a little bit too much, and I got a little bit just put off, I guess. Maybe not angry, but just put off.
Yeah. And Reagan getting reelected, that didn't give you any negative thoughts. That was
just pretty even keel on that one. Yeah.
Pretty positive attitude.
Yeah.
Well, what are you here for? What's Dr. Lynn, you're talking about this binder. I don't have a binder.
Well, it's to people who actually have a chance of making the business successful. But yeah, go ahead and if you could start your pitch now. Sorry, I know we talked a little bit ahead of time, but
yeah. So I'm moving into the entrepreneurial space. Well, I've been here a little while, and I'm moving into kind of the brain space. To just that's why I thought I was so excited that it's a doctor podcast because I'm getting into the brain space. So I'm starting this new product called a contemplation stump. It's kind of my 2.0, really.
Okay. And in the sense of, and once again, like earlier, I've been reading over some of your studies and everything that's been done. Is it made of wood?
The 1.0 was made out of wood. It was a real stump. Yeah, that was the inspiration because I always like to go out behind my house and, take a little stroll. And I found a stump that I just sat down and I'm like, wow, I am like contemplating. I'm contemplating, I haven't really contemplated a lot. And I sat on this stump and I'm like, wow, I'm just really contemplating. But, when I did real stumps and tried to package them and ship them, it was really expensive. So my 2.0, this is where I'm really getting started with the contemplation stump. It's inflatable.
Okay.
Whoa. This is kind of reminding me of mid-90s inflatable furniture where it'd be see-through.
Oh yeah that was part of my process of elimination of ideas. And when I got back to that was exactly my inspiration. It was actually a giant flamingo. When you used to go on the water and you'd sit in the giant flamingo.
Oh
Yep, that's it.
Okay,
you got it.
Yeah because in your
this is a $1 zillion idea. Dr. London, what's your issue?
So in the little catalog I've been given, this brochure, I guess why I questioned it was there is a picture of, a wooden tree stump crossed out and then inflatable furniture and flamingo taped to it. And then said an arrow pointed to it and said, like this. But
just like this, yeah.
But if it was a tree stump, and so an arrow pointing back around to the crossed out tree stump. So that's the other reason, because there's no proper labeling, I guess, in my mind.
Dr. London, there's no point in redoing a whole binder. That's costly. That's expensive. This is frugal. This is smart. Tape a bunch of pictures in there with crayons.
I got a sale on the thumbs up sticker.
Okay, yeah, no, I do see.
Put next to it.
Yeah,
it's
3
on
of
sale.
those.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So the part where I do appreciate the note of you have the word think crossed out, and then you have the word contemplate written and circled.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because I'll admit, whenever I don't always go to a stump. I feel like that's, but like I'll go for a walk and I'll think. So maybe that's, I guess is there a difference for you?
There's a big difference for me. So I went out to stumps. This was part of my prior testing process. And you might be interested in this as a doctor, and Cameron, I can tell you're on board. So you might be interested in this as well. But I went out to the stumps and I sat down. I tried to think. I tried to think of when, I got into that problem of the cost of shipping them. I thought, I got to think this through. So I went out to the contemplation stumps and I sat down and I tried to think. And you know what? No ideas. None whatsoever. Nothing came to me. And I was just contemplating still. I was mostly contemplating about paddleboarding. It's something I like to do. And that was the only thing that came to mind. But no, entrepreneurial thinking ideas. So, it's not a thinking stump. It's just a contemplation stump. You gotta walk. You gotta walk to think. And I got the idea of inflatable when I was walking back to the house.
Now, if you do end up having a thought, are you doing it wrong? 'Cause it's not for that, right?
It's definitely not for thinking. I had a few contemplations on there that I thought might be thinking, and then I realized, this is verging into thinking, but these are completely incorrect thoughts.
Well, and then once you're there, you can just start contemplating about the concept of you thinking, and you're right back at a great space.
You know what? That's a great thought, but you would not get that.
You should put that in your binder for the pitch.
Oh, yeah, that would be a good one for the pitch. Good one for the pitch.
Yeah, just take like a Polaroid of me giving like a thumbs up, tape it in the binder, and then you can say, this guy said, whatever I said, I don't even remember.
So I speaking of the binder, this pitch here, I'm going over, so you go over your company's history and, the developments you went through. So one thing in here, I see you next to the first stump, like you talked about, like the first one that made you contemplate. And then I see another one. And I do see like a whole lot of, looks like fresh stumps. Like you've been chopping down a lot of trees. I'm seeing like pretty significant acreage, just I deforested, I guess would be the term for it. And then and those are all labeled as, you've circled them pretty individually and numbered them as prototype numbers.
Prototype numbers, yep.
Yeah.
I had to get the correct type of tree. So I went through and I found a very diverse forest with a whole bunch of different types of trees. And that's what I started with. I started chopping them down. I went through a Douglas fir, a cedar, balsam, hickory, a weeping willow. The weeping willow. That was a tough one. I just felt I was contemplating very sad. Just had sad contemplations on the weeping willow. And I thought, this will only work for a certain type of people. But, I'm not ready to go there yet. So that one was completely out.
One of the ones it looks like, it must have been a prototype that was circled and crossed out. Is your pondering perch? Why did that not work out?
Well, I fell off.
Oh, that'll do it. Yeah.
It was pretty high. And I thought, well, if I, develop this prototype out, I'm definitely going to need some more, inflatable, kind of like, those donuts that you sit on when you have the bum problems. Doctor, you probably know about that. I'll need to probably prototype something like that. And it was just, another cost add.
Okay.
For people to fall onto safely.
No, and sorry, I just you are giving good explanations for things, but there's just kind of a long list of them here. So also in the binder, I see you have all the chopped down trees and then just you do kind of shrugging and then clearly left behind there. Like you didn't do anything with the trees after you deforested. Is it so I'm wondering did those go to waste or did you or are they do you just consider that to be eventually mulch if time goes on?
Are you ultimately asking what is the environmental impact? Because I have been wondering that as well.
Yeah, just so many prototypes.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to be very transparent with my process, because I didn't want, the environmentalists to come in and get pretty angry. And I'm like, I don't know what to do with these because you know what? I don't know how to build a log house. And that's probably the only thing that you could do other than leave it for mulch, which is very valid. That's not something I thought about at the time, though.
Yeah, I was only saying mulch because I would assume eventually it would break down and become that. So, but you're saying you just left them and hope, and maybe they'll do that. Yeah.
They might be mulch or maybe a log house. If somebody, who gets the binder also knows how to build a log house, and then I could tell them where to go to find those trees. And if they aren't mulch yet, maybe they'll turn into a log house.
Nature takes care of itself, Dr. London. But now, another early prototype that you had crossed out was the consideration chair. Why did that one fail?
Well, I tried considering why it might be a success, and nothing came to mind at the time. Yeah. And also, I don't really know how to make an inflatable chair.
Oh, that is a little bit more complicated than just the stump.
Exactly.
The backing and everything.
I did think exactly the backing, and I took a walk to think about it, because you got to take a walk to think. And what I was thinking is it would be particularly tippy as well, a little bit like the perch.
Well, this binder's full of so many good. It has one here about the ribbon cutting ceremony, and that's where you brought the whole town out for it. Yeah, and so this is interesting to me. You had the whole town also chop down trees to play as an entrepreneur. But it looks, just once again, it looks like just a giant pile of trees that, like, because this was your process, you were adamant that they don't touch it after, like, they don't use it for construction purposes or paper or, whatever you'd use lumber for.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want them to use those trees because they were kind of like, they were a demo tree primarily. So I thought, you know what, let's leave these trees and see what will happen. And you know what? No log houses were built on that one either.
I guess that, yeah, we're saying it pretty positively, but I am thinking, like, maybe was it bad that they weren't used for anything?
Well, I mean, you say not used for anything. This was all necessary to get to version 2.0. And of course, is getting to version 3.0 probably going to destroy lots of things? Yeah. But this is how you build in this country, Dr. London, is by taking natural resources.
That does bring me to the next page in the binder, where you weren't, I guess, satisfied with this country. Because, like, I guess you're going after more trees, more varieties of trees. You went for what a lot of these places go for, which is the rainforest.
Yeah, that is where we're heading next, because it's already an environmental catastrophe. After the thing in the town, most of the newspapers that talked about it, they described it as an environmental catastrophe. So I thought, well, where is there already an environmental catastrophe? Because I could just kind of slip in and no one would notice, because my catastrophe would be a little bit less.
This is like how I get all my spicy water from Flint, Michigan. You just slip in there, get a couple jugs of that thing, get out real quick. No one's stopping me.
So have you thought about, like, I get that your process thus far has been to chop down trees and kind of just feel out what the stump situation is like. Have you started marketing this? Have you actually started selling the product yet?
Yeah, well, I've started talking about it and taking pre-orders for it. Yes, yeah. Oh, the backlash is absolutely horrific.
Oh, you already at the pre-order stage, you've got a backlash?
Oh, yeah. Oh, terrible backlash.
Okay. Well, there's a way to work with that, right? Like sometimes the hate bait or whatever, getting people to be mad at you, and so it gets you more clicks.
Yeah, this seems like a little bit more of a, just kind of more of a direct hate than, they're like, oh, what you're doing is pretty bad, cutting down all those trees and making more plastic, bringing more plastic into the world. Yeah, and our production, we're not going to the best places for producing these either.
Yeah, well, okay, yeah, so that brings up two separate issues, which is you are bringing in a lot of plastic. There are, biodegradable methods, there are recyclable methods, and it does seem like you've really pushed against any possibility of recyclable materials.
Yeah, yep.
It's costing you more money, correct?
It is, yeah. It's more expensive to produce that kind of plastic, and this is the kind of plastic with the little mark on it with the number, and the number is the one I'm told that can't be recycled anywhere at any time.
And Dr. London, recycling just goes to the same place. I have a buddy and his cousin saw once a trash can where the recycling and the trash were the same can. And so thusly, I've decided I'm never recycling again. It's all fake. It's a scam.
Okay. So, I guess those are two really good points about why you're not using recyclable plastic. Trying to think of the other. I guess I don't. Once I've already expressed all the issues that I guess we're left with, well, you're still going forward with this. So,
Silvia, I've got a question, for you, not so even just as much as the product, but, you say you haven't had a negative thought since 1984 when you had that bad meal or so-so meal. But
yeah.
What?
A lot of gravy.
Why
gravy.
Why do you have so much to contemplate? Are you carrying some heavy burdens here?
Well, I asked myself, are you sad? And the answer is always no. So I really don't think I have many problems in life to really kind of suss out or work out. But I do realize that I do love to contemplate. I love to sit there and think about paddleboarding primarily. I've never been paddleboarding. But it seems like
you've mentioned the paddleboarding.
Yeah, just kind of sit there and think about paddleboarding. And some people ask me, they're like, Silvia, why don't you just go paddleboard? And I said, oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, the binder is full of a lot of pictures of just paddleboards and then, circled pointed arrows saying, good idea. Yeah.
Well, some of these are pictures of surfers, and you've drawn in a paddle. It's not quite a paddleboard, but still cool looking.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, no, I love the idea. It's a fantastic idea.
Yeah, to have a paddle. Yeah,
to have a paddleboard.
Okay.
Yeah, they also can be inflatable.
Okay, yeah. I do see the inflatable furniture and once again the arrow pointing to it and saying like, what if these two? And just question mark there. So, yeah, it's really...
Oh.
Okay.
Combination stump paddleboard. Oh, you're a genius. Oh, I'm so glad I came on this show.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to write that down for maybe a 4.0.
Okay.
That's a good one. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, no, it's all yours. I was it that genius? Because, okay, so I guess for this 4.0, since we're helping, so you're paddling out, but also sitting on a stump. So you're contemplating as you just go around the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's different than kayaking because you're a little bit higher.
Oh, I can only imagine. Oh, you're a little bit.
Not much higher, but...
Because you're on a stump.
Oh, but you can see so much more.
I feel like the center of gravity and everything would be thrown off quite a bit, and like you'd tip over and under. But I guess that's why you got to work on it.
I'd have to test it out for sure. I'd have to learn how to paddleboard, and I'd have to try it. And then I don't even know what I would contemplate if I was on a paddleboard on a contemplation stump, because I've only contemplated about paddleboarding. It'd be like kind of a recursive loop of contemplation. What would happen?
I feel like you'd mostly be contemplating like, oh, this is about to tip over upside down for sure, because the weight is on the top on this elevated part of this inflatable thing. And so mostly you'll be thinking about like, how do I swim and not die?
Yeah. Is there a shark?
How do I get back up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is someone around that could help?
Yeah. Am I going to drown here?
Yeah. Is there an undertow? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Riptide. Yeah. So, okay. Well, I guess we helped you.
Yes. Yeah. Can we get residuals off of our ideas here?
Now, I haven't made any money off this. I'm in horrible debt from all of this. It's very expensive. But if I start earning some money, I'm sure it's going to happen one day.
Anyway, with that, I feel like we've kind of come to an end here.
Yeah.
So Sylvia, is there anyone that you'd like to give a shout out to? Anyone you're a fan of? I know obviously your own product, but
Yeah, no, I hope people check out our inflatable contemplation stump. I do hope that. I do have a friend that has a website. It's called flatimprov.com. And so they run that for that kind of thing. So
great. And that's is that on social media as well?
It is on social media as well.
And same handle and all that?
Yep.
All right. Well, to our listeners, check that out. Check out the contemplation stump. Anyway, so everyone check that out. Thank you to our guest, Silvia Stirrup, for being on today. Thank you to our producer, Cameron. Thank you to Digital in the House.
Yeah, well, I've started talking about it and taking pre-orders for it. Yes, yeah. Oh, the backlash is absolutely horrific. Oh, terrible backlash. Oh, the backlash is absolutely horrific. Oh, the backlash is absolutely horrific. Oh, the backlash is absolutely horrific.